What would he do if we ever said no?
I'd always say no.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Patriot fam.
Hey, Patriot family. Welcome to Freedom Friday. I don't know. It feels like a Friday. Are you thankful?
It's frozen Florida. We're in Florida-Alaska right now. We're not okay.
Not okay.
I know we're grumbling and complaining, but.
Well, and it's just going to get colder. I phoned the Panhandle this morning, and they were like, it was 20 degrees. I'm like, yeah, that's snow weather.
Florida?
That's snow weather, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember 2025, going to the inauguration and driving through, us Florida girls driving through snow to come back home? And we had to pull over and get a room because I was like, I'm like white-knuckled it.
She wouldn't let me drive.
Listen. Okay. You couldn't see the road.
I
It
know,
was
you couldn't.
snow
It was
drifts.
crazy.
But it was snowing in northern Florida. It really was.
Cray,
So,
cray.
anyway, welcome to Open Mic, ladies. Welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're grateful you guys joined us. We've got a lot in store today. We'll start with some wins. Then we'll get your blood pressure boiling a little bit, and then we'll give you guys some.
We know you love it here. Let's just open that mic and get started.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us? Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the Mayor Maggie, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat. Keep it on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat.
Welcome, guys. Well, we're so grateful you guys decided to join us. Wherever you're joining us from, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and comment. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear actually what you think about some of the current events that we're going to cover today, including this first one. Let's just go ahead and roll into it.
We're ripping off the Band-Aid.
Yep,
All right.
we're diving in. Anna Paulina Luna, who of course is from Florida because we are the free state of the nation, she reposted Donald Trump's. Is this a Truth Social?
Yes.
Okay, because that's
a
where
truth
he's
post.
that's where he's fieriest. I don't. Okay, I'm just inventing words now.
Fuego.
Trump says, as Steve Witkoff announced, they've officially entered the next phase of their Gaza 20-point peace plan. This is really important because there's been a ceasefire, but his team has helped during that ceasefire develop and deliver humanitarian aid. Right now, what they're doing is they're trying to establish leadership for the Palestinians in that area. This has been the cry that has been largely funded by the left and extremists around the globe, trying to channel this narrative through our college campuses that, free Palestine. Listen, Palestinians were enslaved because they elected Hamas, allegedly, to lead them. So guess what happens when you get hooked through the nose by a terrorist organization? Well, freedom does not follow. So this is important.
It's the equivalent of having a president who is owned and works for the cartel. It's the equivalent. It's the same thing.
Right. We haven't fought that at all in this country. Just telling you. Good thing.
Of course not. What?
Not still fighting it to some degree.
And they better be careful. We're collecting tyrannical dictators like Thanos, so.
Wait till we get the infinity. Never mind. That's not funny.
Here we go.
That's Tony Stark. That's Iron Man. I can't believe they killed him.
love it.
So that's good news, guys. Anytime we can bring peace to another part of the world through strong, peaceful leadership, that's amazing. So, grab a local extremist leftist in your area and ask them why they're not championing this, because he's just single-handedly freeing Palestinians.
I would say, I'm not saying, and please don't do what I am not encouraging for you to go knock on the doors of those that have those, I stand with Gaza, and ask them these questions and inform them about this, because they have their signs in their yards. And I wonder if they actually stand with the people of Iran that are fighting for their freedom right now.
Because there's the college campuses are really quiet. on the many people that are being martyred in Iran because they're standing up for freedom. I thought that's what we were doing on our college campuses, but
I thought that's what we wanted. Don't we want democracy for all? Or no?
well, we
Just
have
some
trouble.
folks?
The left has trouble with the word all.
They do.
They like enumerations that actually exclude people. So I don't know.
That's wild.
But he goes on to say, with the support of Egypt, this is iconic. Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar, they'll secure a comprehensive demilitarized agreement with Hamas. Because you can even bring the enemy to their knees when you are a strong leader, including the surrender of all weapons and the dismantling of every tunnel. But Hamas must immediately honor its commitments. So, there's no red line in the sand, like we're going to put up with this much pushback from a terrorist organization. No, it's all or nothing.
Right.
It's all or nothing. And
Right.
so thank you, Trump, for that.
He's putting back on the line, we do not negotiate with terrorists, I feel like.
Which Bush once said, and then completely negotiated with terrorists, and it was interesting. And I voted for him, so I can't even complain. The other choice was just not, we couldn't do it. So
Like, that's not it. We're not going to do that one.
we had the wonderful visitor we don't live there, to the White House.
I do have a room. I've been there so much.
That's going to be a rumor. We welcomed, I'm sorry, Mr. President. The President and Melania welcomed Maria Corina Machado to the White House from Venezuela.
I mean, it is the people's house. We can say it's our house.
Why don't we have a room there?
For guests to stay? Why not?
We've
There's
been
enough
very
rooms.
close.
No.
On Allie's birthday, okay, pause. On Allie's birthday, what did they deliver to you in Washington, D.C. in one night? You were able to have a glass of wine or something else, one while overlooking
The Capitol.
the state, the Capitol, and the second one overlooking.
The White House.
Yes.
It was
I don't
lovely.
know many people that they'll move heaven and earth in Washington, D.C. for.
It was
but they
great.
did
I have the
for your
best
girlfriend.
friends. I have the best friends.
Best friends. But anyway, Maria Corina Machado, I just want to say that a lot because I sound Spanish when I say it.
You are Spanish.
I am, but I largely don't sound Spanish. I sound
Blanca,
Weta.
that's
I'm
right.
Blanca. I said Weta. Ooh, but anyway, she showed up and she brought a gift. Take a look at this picture.
Wow.
This is what she presented to Donald Trump, her Nobel Peace Prize.
Look at that smile. Oh.
He's a sweetie, isn't he? They presented it to him. This is obviously the Venezuelan opposition leader. She had the election
rightful leader.
stolen from her. And, she said when she got this prize, Allie, she was like, I want to dedicate it to President Donald Trump.
Yeah, because he is the poster boy for freedom and liberty and standing in strength, peace through strength, right? And so she felt that it was necessary for him to receive that. Oh my gosh, look at this photo. It's a picture of an alligator's nose coming out of one of the lakes, and it's like, this is Florida this morning. We are not okay, y'all.
We are not okay. Some of us
But
did not.
a lot of us are transplants from up north anyway, so.
But
Allie,
Allie,
been here for so long.
Thank you. I was waiting for a car at valet, and the guy comes up and he's like, "But aren't you from the Midwest?" I'm like, "When you are here for any length of time, your blood
adapt already.
You adapt, and now yeah, it's
Like,
cold. Check on your Florida friends.
Search in my closet for cold weather gear. I'm like, this is. I
We're
don't
gonna
have
need
any.
it next week in
It's all
Tallahassee
gone.
too, girl, because that's further north.
No, I mean, never mind. Anyway. Moving on.
So, Allie, you sent this to me. Actually, you text me and you're like, "What in the are we doing? What are we doing?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Is that the NGO that we were funding?" Girl, I did not know. Okay, your text.
Eli Crane is upset about it. Mike Lee is upset about it. Like, you can tell who our true constitutional conservatives are.
Yeah.
Based on their socials and based on off of this vote.
So what happened? We've been bringing to you news about NGOs that the government, Donald Trump has cut ties with globally because it's your taxpayer money that's coming into the government and going out to these non-government organizations. There are some that I think people still agree with and feel like they're good and they're up to good use. This, not so much. This NGO, it's called NED, the letters NED. It funnels, buckle up guys, $300 million of taxpayer funds through an NGO. It literally funds the censorship Wow, this is like against what we do, right? It funds the censorship of American citizens, and the entire advertiser, it like puts pressure on people. This is why you've got lamestream media that pushes one narrative. Now, they had their payments frozen by Doge.
Yes.
Okay. And yet every single Democrat and 81 Republicans voted to fund it. Not just fund it, but give it a pay increase more than ever. This is crazy. This is the National Endowment for Democracy that largely goes to the Democrat Party. It helps to fund a narrative in our media. Guys, this is why they slow walk. Do you want to say it?
Smith Modernization Act, the repealing of it, right? They want to get back to the original, which is the Smith-Mundt Act.
Well, we want them to, yeah.
Right, we want them to get to the original, which it's been modified. So we want to repeal the modification. That's the
And who modified it, Allie?
Barack Obama.
So is that racist to say that?
In the left's eyes, yes. Because how dare you not want us to lie to you? How dare you not want us to propagandize you? How dare you? How dare you want to know the truth? That's dangerous. Did you know that? Gosh.
The truth, you can't handle the truth.
Right. Clearly they can't, because they can't define what a woman is, but then they want us to rule judicially.
Representative Thomas Massey, I love this. He kind of explained it, though. I love how he explained it. He said 127 of us voted aye to defund the leftist neocon National Endowment for Democracy.
Honestly, it's not even leftist. It's Marxism.
That is the left now. They've slid. Listen, they're so far down the cliff of leftism. They're in that little like shallow pool that's communist, Marxist, socialist. So he's saying, that POTUS should, in this, I'm not sure if we have a copy of what he said.
Why is this
of Massey's post? But we have, what he's saying here is that POTUS, the President of the United States, should not obviously sign this. And
Gosh,
veto
I
it.
hope not. I hope he does veto it, and I think he will veto it. I love the fact that we are talking about it, right? Like, wow, what? I'm like, is there a solar flare? Because none of my stuff is working. Like, my computer's not working, my phone's not working.
That's a look at the list of those and how they voted.
Which FBI list am I on?
All of them, Allie.
Because it's not
We're
working.
moms. We are the most dangerous people in America. Don't you know that? A well-informed mom with a
You're
phone
on X and it's working for you, but it's not working for me.
Well,
We're
it's
literally
because
in the
I
same
already
spot.
had these uploaded, but I don't know. Look, no. Oh. So, guys, I want to continue talking about the NED, and okay, Mike Benz, who, if you want to pray for anybody today,
my gosh,
pray for Mike Benz.
Him and the data Republican, they've been doing some amazing investigations about this.
So what could happen when the CIA and the Department of Justice work cohesively, hand in hand, not to bring the deep state and those with Crossfire Hurricane to have some kind of accountability. But what would happen if the CIA and the Department of Justice worked hand in hand to get funding that would help continue to lie to the American people? You don't think it's being done? Thanks to the Freedom of Information Act and to people like Mike Benz, who are independent journalists, really, they're citizen digital army members, I think. This is almost 2 minutes long. I want you to watch as he shares his screen. He's talking about how the year before this NED, non-government organization, was created, the CIA wrote to the head of the Justice Department and said, listen, we need to support this NED. And here's why we need to support it. And also we need to conceal the fact that as the official CIA, that we are supporting it. Take a listen to Mike Benz.
Yeah, this is the one. There you go. Do you even call this a CIA cutout? This is CIA Director Bill Casey. Obviously, we, the CIA, should not get out in front of the development of such an organization, nor do we wish to appear to be a sponsor or advocate. Nevertheless, the need appears real, and I believe our national fabric for dealing with many issues and problems will be well served by the creation of NED. So the head of the CIA writing that NED should be created and we're strongly telling you on the inside to back the creation of Ned, but publicly we can't appear to be a sponsor or advocate or to be getting out in front of it.
Wow.
Even everything about it, the CIA's idea, then the CIA tries to hide its advocacy for it. Meanwhile, and the head of the organization says we were created to do. It would be terrible for democratic groups around the world to be seen as subsidized by the CIA. That was discontinued after the disaster of the 60s. We've lost capacity, and that's why Ned was created, to be the bagman for the CIA.
Wow.
We can bring it back, David.
If we didn't need more evidence or more reasoning to dispel that agency, I don't know what else we need.
Well, and even Glenn Beck came out and said,
Of course he did.
The GOP, those that voted for this, are largely sellouts. I mean,
who votes for that?
And this is the crazy thing, is that every single Republican was on the coattails of Trump and Doge and Elon Musk. And then they turn around, Elon Musk, he was furious. He's like, I just went in and did a job and I showed you where the waste was.
Right.
And now you double down on stupid and go in there and give them more money?
That doesn't make any sense. But you know what it is? So I was told that it could have been that they didn't want a government shutdown. Where is the spine? Where is the constitutional fortitude? So you're willing to forego the First Amendment unless it fits your agenda for censuring someone.
Over their private life.
Right? Mm-hmm. You're going to forego the Constitution? I thought you took an oath to that, so your oath means absolutely nothing then. Okay, and then we have sitting representatives of different states that are like, well, the answer to this is not to vote Democrat, obviously. The answer is to primary those who no longer abide by the oath in which they swore to. But the issue that we're having is that,
Yes.
the issue we're having with that is that it costs now an astronomical amount of money for the average American to run for office. And the average American cannot afford $500,000 to run for Congress. The average American cannot afford $200,000 to run for school board.
Yep.
That's wild. Like when you go to someone and you're like, this is what I want to do. I want to run for school board. They're like, oh, well, you need to raise $200,000. Why? It's a local backyard race. Why do I need to raise that kind of money?
Yeah.
It is absolutely, it's astonishing. But if you have a good ground game, right? A ground game beats money every time. You just have to know how to do it.
Yes.
It's not impossible. It just takes work.
It does. It takes work. And it's work on top of your regular work that you do. Because when you run for office and when you sit in office, especially, this is how it should be. It shouldn't be your main
Okay, y'all. Is X like acting crazy for y'all too?
Can I show this real quick?
Is X down? It's down because it's not working for me.
So all I have is what I already pulled up. So
Yep.
we'll have to see. Wait, this reminds me of Verizon. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Girl,
oh my gosh.
I'm telling you.
So we have a solution.
Does Iran have access to our internet? Starlink. Elon? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh gosh, we do have a solution to this NED, but obviously now this would have to be, brought up by people who have really a backbone in Washington D.C. Take a look at this image, which we talk about all the time. Restore the Smith-Mundt Act to end government-funded propaganda. Thank you, Mike Lee.
I honestly want to know why. Why would a Republican senator, not want to pass President Trump's agenda, like the SAVE Act, which would require citizenship verification in order for you to vote? Why would the GOP, who say that they are constitutional, not want to restrict propaganda being spewed all over the news? And yet they complain about it, but they don't want to do anything about it, right? Why would you not want to end the filibuster so that you can pass President Trump's agenda that 77 million Americans voted for on November 4th? You know why? Because then they don't have anything to fight for.
Well, I'm going to tell you another thing,
The
Allie.
same thing with these large organizations and these large accounts.
You're not going to tell me that there's not people on the right side of the aisle who also use propaganda to their to their advantage. And so they're just like, well, but if we control the message, then we're okay with it. No, we're not okay with it ever. The truth is the truth. The people out there deserve to have the right to hear what the truth is. You're a big girl, you're a big boy, you can decide for yourself, but to censor it or to create a top-down approach to what's going to come out of your mouth as a journalist, it's the death of mainstream media. It's why people tune into places like Patriot TV to get their news. But
and why they tune into X spaces like pirate radio, because we're always right.
Well, and listen, Representative Mark Harris, he actually said what we're saying pretty much on the floor. Take a listen to him.
Only a year ago, several in my party were hyping up DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. I must ask, where's the enthusiasm now? Why are we not continuing to slash the waste, fraud, and abuse? We did it with USAID, NPR, and PBS. But listen, we can't stop there. While we're wielding the budget axe, let's be unequivocal about what should never receive another dime of taxpayer money.
Yep. So right here on Open Mic, I checked this morning on all news organizations that are funded mainstream media and even our America's Voice that I do like Rav, but nobody is giving you the full list of those who voted against, this is the rogue judges bill. I won't go there. Never mind. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. We're going to give you okay, we'll pivot. It's not just frustrating to see them do this with spelling out propaganda to you. It's also frustrating when we tell you that people should not be able to go rogue from a bench and be able to legislate from the bench. That's the legislative body's job,
Right.
not the judicial.
I think there is a full list, though, about those who voted against,
We'll work on getting it.
voted for funding NED.
This pivoting, though, is the rogue judges who voted no for defunding
If I
rogue
could pull up
judges.
my X, I'd give it to you, but I don't have it.
Take a look at this list. When I looked at this, Allie, you know what I noticed? Who's that name right there?
Well, there's a lot of them. That's Vern Buchanan.
But he's from right here in Florida.
There are a couple of Floridians that have voted for this. Yes. Scott Franklin is one of them.
Oh, geez.
I don't even know. So Scott
McClintock?
Franklin. Yep, that's California, though.
I know, but
Mike Herodopoulos, Florida, District 8. And then you have Buchanan. Where's Buchanan?
Up here.
Carlos Jimenez, Florida District 28. And then you have Florida District, where is he? Salazar, 27.
wow.
And of course, we're only going through Florida right now. Florida 16. Buchanan. And then you had Scott Franklin, who voted for NED. Buchanan voted for NED. I think Salazar voted for NED.
Oh, you got it right there. Look at that.
It's ridiculous, guys. Like, it's frustrating.
This is what's frustrating is that, okay,
I know.
in the real world, you're
It is what it
told,
You just don't know how things operate here. You just don't understand. No.
you women.
You know what I don't understand? I don't understand how you can't stand firm in your constitutional principles. I don't understand how you can't stand and say, look, I don't care if we have a government shutdown. I'm not funding censorship because that violates the First Amendment.
Well, and I want to make sure that everybody out there understands.
And that includes free and fair press. That's not propagandized.
I want everybody to understand, because I did some research on the judges and what this vote took place, that took place the other day. So this specific this specific vote was to strip the staff funding from specific rogue judges. So
Yes.
the ones that are just going completely rogue. And so that was the one that failed. But you need to know that the No Rogue Rulings Act, it's HR 1526, is a separate legislative effort that did pass the House. 219 to 213. That's a very narrow margin. But it requires 60 votes in the Senate. They don't
Which
have
we don't
it.
have.
So
Which
we still have
don't
rogue judges.
have. And for the life of me, I don't understand why. It's like,
But this is why 2026 is so important. As much as I would like to get really mad and say, you know what, I'm sitting the whole thing out because
No, you
y'all
can't
aren't
sit
listening.
out.
You can't
You
do
cannot
that.
take your ball and go
because
home.
2026, we have got to keep the foot on the gas pedal and give Trump even more in the House and more in the Senate to get the rest of this agenda through. But They've got to be the right kind of Republicans, because we can't continue to have, and this is the funny thing, what you see a majority of in the House and the Senate in Washington, D.C. are people that will do questionably the right thing of what we the people want when they don't have to lead and put their neck out. Like, if it looks like a nice coattail to ride, they'll buckle up and ride that like Disney.
Look.
But they're not going to be the one, so you've got to get your firebrands out there.
They're trying to hold out President Trump. They're waiting. We cannot wait 3 years for this, for y'all to push through, which you're not going to. You're not going to. If you can't do it right now, you're not going to.
Yeah.
And so if we do get new blood, fresh meat, as freshmen, into the Senate, I need y'all to act like it's going to be your only chance.
Yeah.
And that's honestly how it should be. You should go in there, guns a-blazing, ready to rock.
Yep.
Who cares?
Don't go in there asking for permission. Go in there and do what the people sent you there to do.
Because that was your permission.
Yeah. Your permission was the election. Absolutely.
That part.
Allie, I know X is down right now.
I can't.
Were you guys a part of the Verizon outage? I mean, I was not, but did you hear about Can you hear me now? No, they couldn't, actually. They could not hear anything.
Isn't that T-Mobile? Was that the commercial for T-Mobile? Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, is it? But everybody always says, we're on the Verizon network, though. Well, that's not impressive at this moment. But General Flynn reposted Dennis Michael Lynch's video. This is a long video, so we won't show the whole thing. But General Flynn is saying, and as a three-star general who largely knows a lot of the inside workings of what's happening in the federal government and the world, when he says everyone needs to pay attention and tags the DNI director and the president in it, I want to take a listen. Take a listen to what Dennis Michael Lynch is saying roughly. We'll listen to about the first minute of it. Take a listen.
Why is this? Why can't I make a phone call out? I can't make a phone call out to anybody. We learn that half the freaking country is down. It is down because Verizon, once again, the third time in 12 months, has a major outage. Now, let me tell you something that you probably don't remember. Going back not long after 9/11, but long enough to where years had passed by. I think it was maybe 2008, 2009. A bunch of pilots throughout the country had all reported to the FBI and to the TSA and they wrote an entire letter and they all signed off on it to all the, to the union that represents the pilots, you name it, air traffic control, that dry runs were happening on airplanes, that there was no doubt that Middle Eastern men were carrying out the same sort of chaotic behavior on airplanes. And the reports were all matching each other. Clearly, there were dry runs taking place. And so then it triggered off to the feds. We need to have better security. We need to get back into being serious again. But the public never found out about that. It was kept on a low down. In fact, I think there was only one news report about it, and then it went away, which obviously means that the government did whatever they possibly could to tell the news reports this isn't going out. Why weren't you told?
Because they own the news.
You weren't told because they were afraid that you would stop taking flights and that this country would wind up going into a free fall of panic that another 9/11 was about to hit. Folks, I think what we are seeing with Verizon is what may very well be dry runs. You won't hear this anywhere else. And I think it's because, A, people don't focus on the things that are most dangerous and most important. B, every single last measure that the government can take to try to keep you from being in a mass panic situation, they will take. But when you have a major, and I mean a major telecommunications company, the size of Verizon, having an outage for half the country to where phone calls can't be made at all, you can't access anything, and it's down for the majority of the day, understand that this isn't a glitch. This isn't like there was a storm in one of the major hubs where all their telecommunications equipment is kept and, seawater came in and wiped out a basement. This
We can bring
isn't,
it
they
back,
had a
David.
tornado and it wiped.
You get the picture. And then you couple this with the fact that full boxes of NYPD uniforms were dumped in the Bronx and other places. And we were given
a heads up, like, hey, you guys might want to watch out for this.
we were told this is the game plan. And, you know, we're not trying to instill fear, but we do think that you are big boys and girls and you deserve to kind of know what's been talked about in some intelligence rooms and why
Circles.
mainstream media has not largely brought this to you, I don't know. But that the playbook, largely from what they've learned, is that they create something horrific that happens. Everybody kind of runs towards first responders. The first responders are actually additional terrorists dressed as first responders, and that's the second wave of attack.
And so it's
then
confusion.
then the third wave of attack is you try to call for help, and you have no service.
can't. You know what I would suggest? Going to Patriot Mobile.
Yeah. Wait, do they not use the Verizon network?
They use all the networks, but I think they have their own network.
Okay.
So I would say
Well, we've got-
Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com. We're not sponsored by them, so this is free.
Yet.
Free advertising.
Yet.
We'll call you. I know the people that work there. I haven't. Anyway, patriotmobile.com.
Like, I've been busy.
And if you want to know why, because he mentioned that the news media is being silenced, right? They're being told to be quiet. And we just touched on NED and how they're connected to the CIA. If you want to actually understand kind of how this started, there's a show on Netflix called Good Night, Good Luck. George Clooney is the star of this play that is going off of Broadway, and they recorded it and put it on Netflix. It tells you exactly why.
Well, because that you do know.
I'm not going to give it away. It's great.
You do know that Hollywood and all things that come through Hollywood are brought in with our intelligence community. You almost need the blessing of the intelligence community nowadays. And that's, but not just nowadays, it's Project Mockingbird. We're not making that up. You can Google that as well. So now it makes a little bit of sense why they might need additional funds to make sure that you're in the dark and to make sure that you don't fear. Your cattle that need to be herded into a certain direction. You largely cannot think for yourself. So we're not going to give, I mean, you know, God forbid we inform the American people. This is why mainstream media, it's like an inoculation.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Netflix and Prime Video because everybody needs to unwind, but if you are too distracted,
Yep.
you will largely, they're medicating you so that you turn your brain off and you don't actually ask questions. I mean, how many times do you watch animals get literally herded like cattle before they're slaughtered? And it's like, you need to have the wherewithal to be aware of your surroundings, to be aware of what's going on in your community, to be aware of what's happening nationally, to be aware of what's happening globally. It's not as much fun, and
it's a lot, honestly. It's death by a thousand cuts. There's so many silos, but it all threads together. And I like that we here at Open Mic tend to thread the needle a little bit.
Yeah.
But we have assistance with that, with our independent reporter friends like Mark Naughton and McCabe, and we have crypto lawyers, and we have James. I think it's like Real Politics on X, and we listen to their spaces, and we're in pirate radio all the time. So it helps that we have people that they're honed in, and we can have these conversations, and we're able to thread the needle and then give it out to you guys so that you guys can understand what's really going on.
Because we recognize that a lot of viewers are not on
You're not paying
social
attention.
media. Well, and you're not on social media.
You're
Like,
busy.
there are
get
people
it.
that are like, I don't even know what X is. Like, I don't even want to go on there. It's another one of those social media platforms. I get it. But that's where you're getting a lot of the real-time news. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break to let you guys know how you can support Liberty Cigars as well as Open Mic. Guys, we really, really urge you. You're going to have some things to celebrate in the new year. I promise.
course.
I promise you. I'm hoping to have a celebration on August 18th, 2026. So maybe I should get my own cigars. But we'll be right back with more Open Mic after this message.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on.
I
Welcome
love
back.
this.
Welcome
I love
back
this.
to Open
I was going to say our reporter.
He's not ours.
I love you, David. You are not a reporter. You are our tech team guy.
And he's got his own show.
And he does. It's
Future
absolutely
TV.
amazing.
So we have to collab on screen too.
I'd love that.
because
actually.
he's in our ear, he's in our chat,
And he's so funny.
he's amazing.
But he just sent us a text. He said, "Who needs a reason to celebrate? It's Friday." That's enough to light one up, okay? Listen, I'm thinking about starting a girls like cigar club, and I want to do it so bad.
You should.
I think I'm gonna do it like locally, and we'll philosophize, because that's what happens when you drink whiskey or you drink wine, you smoke a cigar, you philosophize.
Well,
I love that. It's so much fun.
Allie, largely in the olden days,
That's what you do.
women were excluded because
No, they would have their own, and it would be tea time, and cigarettes.
But I'm saying, only because I watched Titanic the other day, and I was like, oh, that's right. They did kind of retire to their rooms to talk about trade and all these things, and the women were like, okay, we're gonna go take care of the kids. And so maybe we need like a women's like, let's talk trade. Let's talk fat. There's a lot of things we could talk about.
Oh man. Oh, I was like, what happened? I did want to. I saw this and I thought it was funny. Polymarket said breaking Grokpedia.
That's grok.
Traffic surges more than 10,000% since November as Wikipedia's monopoly comes to an end.
All right, more than one place to get your information.
I trust Grok better than I trust Wikipedia. Just saying.
Well, sure. So we have been talking a
And
lot.
chat, clearly.
We've been talking a lot about the ties between what took place in Venezuela and with Nicolas Maduro, with the oil there, with the natural resources there, but also with the voter fraud that's largely been able to be carried out around the world through a headquarters there. Smartmatic and Dominion as two companies that are, did you know, they're actually tied to the same owners of the oil there in Venezuela? No. Well,
What?
we've got the wonderful Lindell TV is reporting on this very, very well. Let's take a quick listen. We'll talk about it.
hurt my feelings.
The oil, one thing I've never made clear, the original Smartmatic software engineers came out of our oil companies down in Venezuela. And it's the oil company PDVSA, which was an American creation, everything. The software developers were taken from that over to the election commission to create the original computerized election system with a back door that could be rigged. So this came out of the oil companies, and the oil company that's most prominent when you get talking about Venezuela is Chevron, which is the Rockefellers. So it's but this seems to have been and if you go to the headquarters, the legal headquarters of the holding company over Chevron and over Smartmatic, it's the same address in an office building in Amsterdam. They're literally the same. The holding companies are actually registered at the same address.
I'm sure there's nothing there. I'm sure that is complete coincidence. That's Patrick Byrne. If you're not following him on social media, if you haven't
I don't
seen,
know about you, but I don't believe in coincidences.
if you haven't seen Enemy Within docuseries.com, you need to get over there because
I like his
it is-
sweatshirt. Disrespect communists at all costs.
Oh my
Yes,
God,
sir.
we need that. You need that for a school board meeting coming near you.
Ooh. Imagine the heads exploding.
So again, it was not about a No King's Day or whatever, because now they're finally like supporting kings, I guess, on the left. There's so much more to it. Is X down again?
No.
Okay, all right. We're going to pivot to what's going on in Iran. We talked about it a little bit before. They are killing protesters who are, listen, guys, do we even know in this country what it means to protest something that's so horrendous that you're okay putting your life on the line. I'm not talking about parking your car in the middle of a street trying to evade law enforcement from doing their job,
right?
And apprehending criminals. I'm not
Right.
talking about those self-righteous people that think they're doing something. I'm talking about literally being told, as a woman, cover yourself head to toe, otherwise people will have the right to rape you. And you saying, you know what? I don't think that's good for me and my daughter anymore. I'm going to burn my clothing. I'm going to light a cigar with the flames. Do you understand what that takes to actually protest that, knowing you are probably going to get a bullet? And would you have the courage to do it, or would you rather cover yourself? I don't think the feminists here in this country really understand what women are fighting for in Iran. They're being largely secret.
There was a lady who was crying, "I'm disabled," as she was blocking the throughway for ICE agents as they pulled her out of the car because she wouldn't comply with the law.
In your air-conditioned car.
No, it was heat. It was heat because it's cold.
As you're able to have a driver's license.
Right.
Do they have that in the Middle East?
No, the women can't even drive.
Lord Jesus.
They're like property. They literally compare them to dogs.
Cattle. What are they? Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so
Continue.
Masih Alinejad, she, this woman is in our country.
Fierce.
And still, they have a price on her head.
Yep.
Because of what she's saying and how she's motivating and inspiring people in Iran to continue.
Which is why they shut down the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't think that it's not a coincidence.
But listen to why Iran and their regime, why they dislike her and why they have a price on her head. And I want you to think about anybody else who's bold enough to give you the facts this way. Take a listen.
I now address the representative of the Islamic Republic directly. You have tried to kill me 3 times. I have seen my would-be assassin with my own eyes in front of my garden in my home in Brooklyn. In United States of America, in the courthouse, I have seen my would-be assassin confessing that they have been hired by the Revolutionary Guards to end my life. My crime? Simply echoing the voice of innocent people that you killed them. Your leader, Ali Khamenei. He ordered my killing. He said that American agent who compared compulsory hijab to the Berlin Wall must be killed. I am that woman, and I am not the agent of America. I have agency, but I am thankful to American government and the law enforcement to protect my life. And it was not, if it was not the protection of the law enforcement, I couldn't have been here to testify for millions of people who are facing the same killers, facing the same terrorist regime in my country.
Wow.
Do you know what? Did you catch what she said she did? She said this is Iran's Berlin Wall moment. I just said that on Tuesday. What is wrong with saying that?
Nothing.
But because she said it, they put a price on her head.
Yeah. Well, because they don't want her speaking. And
God forbid it's a woman.
They look down on women. So when you have the left who talks about misogyny and the patriarchy, they are awfully silent in supporting the women who are rising against that, who are rising against toxic masculinity, cloaked in power. Amen. That's what these women are up against. That's what the Iranians are up against. This is,
I'm going to tell you something that I think
their courage is just incredible.
That I think our viewers understand. I know Allie understands it. I know we understand it here. Not liking a federal agency because Donald Trump sits over it as the elected
is a mental illness
as the elected president. Not liking a federal agency that comes into your neighborhood and gets those that are here criminally, illegally carrying out horrendous crimes. Not liking that agency or the people who work for it, and deciding that as a mother of 3, you're going to sit in your car and obstruct that justice and sit there and use your car to channel like a bullet towards law enforcement. That is not bravery. That is idiocracy. What's happening in Iran is true bravery. And I think it's largely Democrats all the way from federal down to school board, and it's the mainstream media that has sat quiet in comparing it that way, you all have blood on your hands, because you've allowed these women who park their, and it is women that park their car to try to get between ICE and their job. You're making them think that they're like the local hero. Meanwhile, they're putting their life on the line for something that is largely illegal. And then you're underreporting what's happening in Iran.
Well, and I think Benny Johnson kind of touched on it a little bit, and I spoke to James Lindsay about this as well, who's an expert in dialectic and this entire Marxist communist mental ideology that has captured American liberal women, is that most of them are childless and unmarried. And so when you tell them that these people they're just trying to live out their lives, you're lying to them, and it's this narrative of oppressed versus oppressor, because that's been spewed in our colleges for years, oppressed versus oppressor, and we look like the oppressors, the ICE agents and the law enforcement, because they have their weapons out and they're conducting law, they're trying to keep law, enforce the law, but the narrative that is being spewed is that these people, these brown people that are being taken against their will, are just here to just live better lives. Meanwhile, they're defrauding you. They're raping your children. They're raping the women in our streets. Women are not safe anymore in America because of the gangs and the horrific individuals that have come here illegally.
Yes.
That is a true reality. And it is not oppressor versus oppressed. You cannot have rampant fraud and illegal criminals running the streets with no legal ramifications for that.
Well, we said, I said on social media too, ICE did not come to bring chaos to your city. Chaos in your city brought ICE.
But imagine if you are one of these women who is unmarried and don't have children, you're going to wrap your arms around these supposed people that you feel need to be protected. And so of course they're going to put themselves in harm's way, because as a mom, you would put yourself in harm's way for your own children, right?
Well, and okay, so that's the same heartstrings that they tugged on during COVID.
Yep.
Mask up.
Exactly.
Get this inoculation so that you don't pass this along to the
same
grandparents. You know, don't you want to see your grandparents again? Don't you want to be able to go outside and
would
get
you
vitamin
rather
D?
have a dead daughter or a trans son?
It's always the fear. It's always the fear
Right?
porn.
Like, it's the same narrative.
But they tug at your bleeding heart because they understand that most people want to try to do something for the greater good. But you have to understand these are not innocent people. And I'll never forget the one interview that Tom Homan did where he's like, if you're here illegally, but maybe you're not a criminal and you're trying to get here legal, you're trying to do everything to become legal or whatever, maybe don't hang around with people who are criminals.
Right.
And when we go in for these criminals, we're not going to find you. Like, largely, we can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was really good advice, actually. My stuff's not.
There is hope, though. I mean, Scott Bessent went himself to Minnesota. So I do believe that there is going to be some cases coming out of the DOJ to take care of those that are funding Democrat Tifa that is currently taking over the streets of Minnesota and other places that are impeding on federal law enforcement investigations.
Well, Allie, and the reason why we're wanting to see a crackdown from sea to shining sea in this country is because we are about to undertake another battle from within our borders, and that is this idea of the Constitution versus Sharia law coming soon to a local government probably near you. Take a look at the amount of people that are actually swearing their oath to office on the Quran. That means they're not using the Bible, which is synopsis with similar with the founders in our Constitution. So take a listen out of their own mouth. Okay, I'm not somebody who's a hater. This is what they'll tell you about Sharia law and what they're trying to do in this country. Take a listen.
There are imperatives in our religion. One of these imperatives is that the amana of the word, kalimat al-haq, is not only to utter the word itself, rather to implement it and to establish it, to establish al-haq, to establish the truth. When the Quran was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it wasn't meant for him to benefit from it, but it was meant to benefit humanity. So he was commanded to propagate and to communicate and to invite. يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر. Oh, you're covered with his gun.
I don't. When they start talking in native language, I don't. If I don't know what they're saying, it's like you're not using our airwaves to do that. But so what he's saying is this is what they're, according to their Quran, according to their religion, their book that they live by. This is what they're told to do. You and I, as unbelievers of their religion, are infidels, so they're allowed to do anything they want to us. But they're not
enslave you, kill you, tax you.
They're not allowed, they're not being told, hey, go over to that country and just go live a free, wonderful life and just don't, live the best life you can. It is a jihad that is described in the Quran, and if I could pull up the actual post, X is down right now, but they give the exact page number in the Quran, where they talk about not only occupying, but for you subdue it through Sharia law. That's what it's about. And
by force.
By force, absolutely. And so
oppression.
Anybody who tells you differently, it's not a hate. Listen, I posted this on my own social media. It is freedom of religion. It's not the freedom to come in here and try to unravel our Constitution to implement your own law. That's not going to happen. So you can practice the faith that you want, but to the point where it comes in contradictory to the Constitution of the United States of America, sorry, you don't have the ability or the right to do that in this country. So
I think it's hilarious, though, how they call it like, oh, you're Islamophobic. No, I'm not afraid of it. I reject it. There's a difference. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because come for me.
That reminds me of that scene in Home Alone. I'm not afraid anymore. Did you hear me? Sorry.
She just compared me to a 12-year-old.
Kevin. Well, guys, just as a quick reminder why we support the rule of law, all the way from federal down to your local
Do we need more reasons?
But take a look. This was sweet. Somebody did a little picture here of
all. I mean, and there's more.
Well, there obviously is more.
There's more.
These are the ones that have made headlines. What do they have in common with you? Most of them are beloved daughters, right? Citizens. United States citizens. Wow, they look really ethnic and diverse. So it's not like this is
America.
A anti-ethnic thing, right? You look at Lakin Riley. Yes, David, talking is hard. He said talking is hard. When you do it for a living, it's really bad. But this is why we support and this is why we voted with a mandate on November of 2024.
Kick them all out.
We're done.
Go.
We're done with it.
You have crossed a border illegally. I don't care if the President of the United States said, come on over, we're just going to leave it open and we're not going to enforce immigration laws that are already on the books. That is illegal. That is illegal.
Yep.
Illegal.
And because just for the sake of...
means it's a crime, Democrats.
Just for the sake of time, I do want to report real quick that the left in Minneapolis, those that are outside still trying to hinder ICE from doing their job, they're bringing out these buckets of water and pouring them on the ground, trying to make, right outside the ICE facility, ice, largely black ice. Yeah, you could see it there. And then, I mean, that's water somebody could be drinking. But I want to skip ahead if we could, David, because for the sake of time.
This is domestic terrorism.
It is.
Let's call it what it is. It is domestic terrorism. And the Insurrection Act should be enacted right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people calling for that.
I'm sure it will be.
A lot of people calling for that. I want to skip to our last asset, David, if we could, because as much as we stand with ICE and law enforcement and deportations, getting people out in a one-way ticket, those that came here illegally, it's not just a Republican thing. It's not just a 2026 thing, and it sure as hell is not a Trump thing. Listen to Barack Obama.
As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow.
And this is why I think Trump is going to go after birthright citizenship.
There's already a bill that's already been drafted to end birthright citizenship, but it's sitting, collecting dust.
Because it's being abused.
In Speaker Johnson's office.
Because it's being abused. It's being abused, and it's not being done the way our founders really argued for it to be done. But did you hear how many deportations we're going through a day? 1,000 a day.
And he said his proper role as president was to follow the laws that have been implemented by Congress. What you don't say.
So his job wasn't to fly cash over to the Middle East to give to terrorists? I wonder why he did that.
But he did. He did.
His job was not to lie to the American people and unravel the Smith money.
And you know, when people say, oh, I'm tired of being lied to by politicians, do you mean only on one side or on both sides?
Thank you.
And we're not going to be able to vote our way out of it. Do you mean by one side or both sides? Because last time I checked, the Constitution says that when you don't have a government that actually represents you, it's your responsibility to implement a new government that does represent you. How do you think you do that? It's not by talking on Twitter, because Twitter's not real life. Social media is not real life. You know what is real life? Your school board meeting, your city council meeting, your county commission meeting, your park board meeting, your House of Representative meetings, your delegation meetings. That's real life. Yeah. Local action equals national impact. If you want to make a change, you have to get involved locally first in order for there to be national impact. We did not get here overnight, you guys. We got here through a slow erosion of our laws and a slow erosion of our constitutional principles.
And I would argue we got here through a deliberate attack on the republic that our founders were fortunate enough to give us. 100%. That's why Benjamin Franklin said, if you can keep it. Well, 2026, we fully intend to keep it, and we are not faffling around anymore. Guys, thank you so much for joining Open Mic Ladies. It's Friday. We're going to be, we'll be coming to you from our home studios.
Sunday, what? It's Friday.
This is what we do.
Saturday, Sunday, what?
As a matter of fact, right before the show came on, we were doing our thing, and our director in our ear, David, he was like, wait, you all know you're not on right now, right? We're like, no.
He's like, oh, this is the pre-show?
This is just us. This is just us. So, guys, make sure you're following at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms so we can keep you informed over the weekend. We'll see you Monday morning, guys. Make sure you have a wonderful weekend, and always tune in. Share, share, share. We'll see you guys.
Get it.